Hello and welcome to Nolan Financial Radio. My name is Chris McKinney from Nolan Financial Partners. If you'd like more information about what you hear during our show today, give us a call at 719-210-4242 or visit us online at nolanfinancialpartners.com. And while at our website, click on the radio page, check out our past shows, and subscribe to our program on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Music, or Amazon Music. Here's the ideal scenario. You're all set to retire and your financial strategy is solid, and you know you'll have the necessary monthly income to maintain your ideal lifestyle. And you also know where you're going to live and how often you're going to be traveling. Your strategy is so airtight that you even know how you're going to fill up all that new open time on your daily calendar. You're sitting pretty and nothing could possibly go wrong. Nothing is coming up on your road trip down the road, right? Think again. So I read an article about some of the things that people don't expect. Some of the things that no one is really prepared for them because guess what? They're unexpected. So it's kind of a funny thing that we think we can expect the unexpected, but we can't. So unexpected things happen. So what if you're hosting 25 family members for Thanksgiving dinner? Whether you need to dip into your emergency fund or take out a credit card, you're going to need a new oven. You're going to need new stuff for the house. Maybe you're hosting them at your home and you need more beds. During today's show, we're going to discuss many common retirement expenses that people often don't adequately prepare for, and in some cases don't plan for at all. Later in the show, we'll also examine the ways in which a wealth strategy built in partnership with a financial services professional may position you to deal with future financial surprises. But before we get into this awesome topic, let me introduce you to my co-host, Tony Shore, who, based on his attire, is heading for the beach right after our show.
That's not true. That
Okay.
is not true. I'm not wearing my swimsuit, Chris, but yeah, hey, I love you've got to take advantage of the good weather while you can, and who
Oh,
doesn't
boy.
like to feel that sand between their toes? You got to take advantage. But
Yes.
I think you've got a great topic for us today, Chris. Hey, I had a great week. I want to tell everyone this
Oh,
past weekend I had a family rebellion.
great.
Reunion. I meant to say. Did I say rebellion? Did I say rebellion? I meant reunion.
Who won?
Uh, exactly. The in-laws are the outlaws. It's the in-laws versus the outlaws at the Shore Lewing reunion. Yeah. So anyway, no, it's always good to see family you haven't seen in a while. And the thing I like about our family reunion, Chris, it's
Mhm.
from 11 to about 2:30. 11 starts at 11 a.m., goes to
No, it's quick.
2:30, and it's always the Sunday after Father's Day, so the weekend
Okay.
after every year. And we always we bring in fried chicken and picnic stuff. We have it in a picnic shelter at a park, and everybody gets together, chats, says hi. We talk about any major changes in the family, and then we go our own
Yeah,
ways. It's a great way to do it. I enjoy
it's
that.
awesome.
But yeah, 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 and that way we all leave friends. You let it go too long, and
Yeah,
it just
it can
so
get ugly.
yeah. So no, but that was good. How about you? What have you been up to?
Well, I've been enduring the heat, and trying to figure out a way to get away from the heat.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, the
And,
humidity has been bad this year, at least where I'm at. How about you?
well, we don't have humidity here. It's not
That's good.
we had some odd weather. We had fog for 2 days. So we had a weak upslope flow of air that created, some cooler temperatures,
Mm,
60s,
wow.
and fog for 2 days.
Hmm,
It was really nice.
yeah. Yeah,
Unexpected
but
for
and
June.
you have had some hot days, though, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's hot this week. We've been having,
Yeah.
uh, heat warnings, and, we're gonna get those all summer long because, uh, the Front Range is just not used to. It's not used to the climate change.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about, you're right. Let's talk about some of these retirement expenses that might be waiting. I mean, I'm sure some
Yeah,
of our listeners are worried that no matter how well they've built their strategy, there might still be some holes.
yeah. So we call them risk that we need to plan for, right? And
Mm,
so the biggest risk that we don't plan for is healthcare expenses.
mm,
And so this is kind of we plan some, we plan for paying the insurance. Maybe we have a plan for deductible, but what happens if something's not covered, right? And so something's big. So one of the biggest things we talk about to our clients about is what are we going to do if we have, out of pocket healthcare expenses? Where's that money going to come from? And so we want to make sure that we have that risk. Now, healthcare expenses have rise faster than inflation rates. So we're expecting the rule of thumb is 5% every year for the next 30 years.
oh,
And
wow.
so and so that's a pretty hefty deal.
Yeah.
You can look at the past, in 2000 for a family of four, um, health care was $1,000 for the whole family. In 2020, it was $12,000 for the whole family, and it's higher than that now. But so that's a 1,200% increase over 20 years. So that's 60% a year
Wow.
now. So we don't expect it to be that bad. The there were a lot of things that happened in that period, but 5% a year is a hefty amount for it to go up, and so something we really need to plan for. And so we need to consider needs in the 80s and 90s, not just in the 60s and 70s. Um, Now, how long are you going to live? Well, that's a good question. And so typically, when we looked at statistics, I can say that word. um,
Statistics. Yeah, that's a
Statistics.
tough one. Yeah.
If you're a lady and you're 65 years old, you're probably going to make it to 89. Um, if you're a man and you're 65 years old, you're probably going to make it to 85. So so
Wow.
that's how things are going. The actuarial tables, um, you know, are continuing to move up, and so we're starting to see people live longer because they've had
Yeah.
better health. They
Yeah.
didn't have to live through World War II.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, I know the average life expectancy technically took a dip because of the opioid crisis, they say. I can't
Yep.
believe that. It had
Yeah.
such a big impact that it caused that, but other than that, life people are living longer typically. If you
They
make it
are.
to 65, you're going to live longer than people who lived to 65 20, even 10 years ago. So,
Right.
people are living longer and longer. My grandfather, again, I brought him up on past shows, Chris. He lived to 101 and he was going strong up until then. And my dad is 80. He's still driving. Probably shouldn't be, but he is.
Shouldn't be.
Uh, yeah, yeah. So, but that's the thing. People are living longer, and we have to account for that. That's
Well,
something.
and transportation is my next thing on the
Oh,
list,
okay, sure,
because as we get older, we may not want to be driving our own vehicles as much. Maybe we take an
sure,
Uber to get to our medical appointments or to get to a movie or whatever.
sure.
Um, Now, I don't know if you've seen this around town. There's these the companies that are medical appointment service
Oh,
cars,
yes. Yeah. Yep. In
and
fact,
so
even in the small, area where my farming community where my mom and dad live, because the older population, there's so many
yeah.
more people that are living longer, they have that. They have a service that takes people to medical appointments.
Yeah, that's just a result of having so many boomers, right? And
Right.
then and then, also that, so many of their kids moved away, right, to work.
Yeah.
And so elderly people need to have, service from the industry or from the public sector on how to get to do things. So, and that goes with lawn maintenance and cleaning and all these things. You may
Yeah.
start to pay for that, as you get older. You don't clean your house as well. You don't maintain your lawn as well. You don't do your home maintenance as well. So you're going to have to start hiring that stuff out. I know my mom spends a lot more on home maintenance now that my dad's not around, right? Because he used to do so much of it, and now she has to hire the electrician and the plumber and everything to do simple things my dad used to do.
Yeah, it's interesting. And you mentioned more and more people, the baby boomers, 11,200 plus a day hitting
Yeah,
65. Turn
yeah,
65. That's how many people are turning 65 just in the United States every
it's
single day. 11,200 people a day in the US turning 65. So hitting retirement age. That's a lot of people entering
that's
retirement.
right.
So that's causing changes in retirement planning and the way we need to do things and to some of
Right.
our programs. So it is, in a way, it's a crisis. In one way it's a good thing, and another way there's a crisis, and you want to fill these holes before you get to that point. That's the thing. That's what we're talking about here, right?
Yeah,
Retirement
that's
expense.
right. We identify where that money's going to come from before we need it, and so we start to create it, our unexpected funds.
Yes.
How
Yes.
are we going to pay for those unexpected things? That's our unexpected fund. And
Yeah, I
so,
mean, and if you are still driving, like I had a car repair, and
mm,
it's outrageously expensive now. Used to be
oh right,
brakes and rotors,
that's
oh, it's a couple $100. No.
no,
That's just for them to look at. Some places you can't get them to look at it for less than $300. And
right,
then the labor is very expensive on top of that, and parts, it's really expensive. You
yeah,
need to have that planned out.
yeah, and just getting your brakes, the routine maintenance on brakes and oil, all those things have gone way up compared to where they were just 5 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we got to make sure that we have money put aside for those kind of things. Another expense that people should be spending, and we want them to spend this, is maintaining your health. Kind of a health and wellness check for yourself. Whether it's getting involved in a yoga class or joining a gym or doing things to help your personal health and wellness. And so there's 10% of your total monthly spending should go to your personal health and wellness. Does that seem like a lot? Well, maybe, but you really should take care of yourself because you're all you've got, right? And you have time to do it. So do
Right.
it. It's
Right.
worth it's worth the money to have that gym membership or the silver shoes that comes with maybe a healthcare advantage plan, something like that, to spend that money on yourself.
Yeah, and the
But
healthier you are as you enter retirement, the more money you're going to save on healthcare
that's right.
typically, and you can cut down your expenses that way. I mean, and look, Chris, I'm doing my part right now. Stress ball. Look, I mean,
Nice.
okay, that's not
You must
really
you
what you're
must not
talking
have
about.
arthritis in that hand.
Yeah, I'm trying to build up my strength in that hand. Yeah. Yeah, it's more for stress. This is more emotional than anything else. So, no, I'm
Yeah.
kidding. I'm kidding. It just happened if somebody gave this to me. It was here. I'm like, "Oh, exercise." Yes, I do exercise.
M my mother-in-law she was a medical DO, and she would go to conferences, and she always came back with stress balls and fidget spinners and,
Yep.
all kinds of, things to help try to release the stress.
Yes, I get all kinds of that Chotsky at seminars and things I go to, and my wife goes to a lot of. She's a recruiter, so she goes to a lot of recruiting events, and all the different companies have all that Chotsky, as I like to call it. So,
That's right.
yeah, the stress ball. So this one says Horton on it, and it just reminds me of Dr. Seuss.
Oh
Horton
yeah, sure.
hears a who.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know what
That's
Horton
nice.
is, but Horton hears a who. I know that. So
Horton's the name of the guy.
yeah, yeah,
It's a
Horton hears
name.
a
It's a
who.
name. It's just a name.
Yeah, but I don't. Yeah, I don't know what this in particular is.
It's
I
some
don't know
company
this
thing.
company called Horton, but I know that Horton hears a who. I love that one.
Yeah.
I love that one. So anyway, let's take a moment here to let
Yeah.
our listeners know how they can get a hold of you to make sure they have a plan in place to cover all their expenses in retirement.
Yeah. So if you're interested in going over all your risk and setting up that unexpected fund, give me a call at 719-210-4242. Check our website out. It's nolanfinancialpartners.com. And give us that call. We've got some complimentary consultations ready to go. So 719-210-4242.
All right. Well, great discussion today, talking
Yeah.
about what retirement expenses are waiting. What are the risks out there that might come up during retirement that we should plan for? Where do you want to go from here? What else do you have
Well, the
for us today?
the last two risks I do want to mention are grandkids. They involve grandkids, I
Oh,
should say.
sure, sure,
So, we want to take care of our kids and grandkids, and maybe we want to have fun with them that we weren't able to have before while we were
sure.
working.
Take
So
him to Disney World, right?
I had a client, man. He has 2 kids, and those kids all have, one has 5 kids, and the other kid has 3 kids. And so he's paid for all of them to go down to a Disney World, and so they had a
Wow.
great time. They stayed right on the property. But yeah, the Tillmans just had a great time down there. So, it was so much fun.
But you want to plan for that as far as
I
expenses.
I made a plan for them. I said, "Here's your money for this.
Yeah,
We're gonna make this your money so that you can take your family on a big trip sometime." And
that's
we
nice.
did it before they asked, and then sure enough, about 8 years later, they said, "Hey, we're gonna do that." I'm like, "Great."
No
So
problem.
it made me so happy to be able to help them with that, right?
That's great.
The other thing that for your grandkids is college, right? A lot of grandparents wanna help with their grandkids' education. So whether it's contributing to a 529 or just paying for their tuition or something. So that's something a lot of grandparents like to do. It
Yeah.
makes them feel good.
Yeah. Yeah, I know my parents and, especially my wife's mom really likes to do things for the grandkids, and, it's good to know her
Yeah.
concern is always, "I don't know how much I can spend. I wanna do this. Can I help them out with college? But then will I have enough to live on?" So, having a good plan in place ahead of time can alleviate any of those concerns. You have enough to do this and have enough money to last you the rest of your life. That's the key, isn't it?
That is the key, and that leads to the article I read from Kiplinger. Saving for retirement is enough. You need a wealth plan, and so this wealth plan helps plan for all those unexpected things, right? And so meeting with financial services professional and getting that wealth plan in place, something that's actually written down. Wealth plan is not just saving, right? It's just not creating. So uh, recently went through Tara's book, Money Moves, and she has a nice little graph where it's the it's in the get it phase, right? So most people are in the get it phase. They're working, they're creating their wealth, right? And then once they retire, they're in the got it phase. That's what you got, right? You got it. You got your nest egg for retirement. So you're going to spend it down, right? So that's the got it phase. And then there's the give it phase, which we just mentioned with the grandkids. The older you get, the more you want to give money away for some reason. But the step one to building a wealth plan is taking a really good inventory of all your assets, your income sources, all their expenses, and then what we'll help you do is add in all those risks like inflation, right? So the next thing that we're going to help you do is create goals. So that's our next step is you can't hit a target you don't aim at, right? So you gotta
Right.
You got to have a goal for creating your wealth, and then you have to have goals for how you're going to spend it. Okay, so just hitting retirement just gives you met that retirement goal of, oh, I've got $5 million in savings. I can retire. I can live on 250K a year. That's not your last step. Then now it's how do I manage spending this money down so that I can enjoy it the best way and know I'm not going to run out, right? So that's those goals will help you make all those decisions, right? So you need those goals defined. It'll help you define your investment strategy, right? So not everything is just throwing it in the market and leaving it there because the market is susceptible to risk, right? We've all
Right.
seen those risks. And I've known people that have had to go back to work because of market risk, right? So that's a
Yeah,
big one.
that's all their money for retirement was in the market, and they
Oh
had a
yeah.
down year, and they were trying to take out too much, and so it depleted, and they had to go back to work. That's not good.
That's right. And so when we do a plan, we plan that for a couple, the at least one person in that couple is going to make it to their 95th birthday. So that we don't want anybody outliving their money. We want everybody to have all the money they want in retirement so they can have all the fun they want to have. So we create growth strategies along with safe money strategies so that you have that unexpected money and you have that growth. You have both things, right? And so it takes a diverse investment portfolio, and that doesn't mean just stocks, ETFs, and mutual funds. It's a whole wealth plan that includes those things, but there's more to it than that, right? So that we can take care of things that pop up.
Yeah.
So we go a lot further than just creating the growth. Um, the wealth plan seeks preservation of those funds so that they meet all your needs and protect all your assets.
And
Um,
that's the key, right? I mean,
yeah.
yeah, you wanna have, asset protection, and you really need a plan in place, and this is why creating that wealth plan is a
Yes.
huge reason to work with, uh, financial professionals, such as yourselves. You and Tara, meet with your clients and can meet with our listeners out there and help them develop a plan, and walk you through building that wealth plan that's going to address these needs and concerns, correct?
That is exactly right. Yeah, we sit down. We've got some software that helps provide some guidance for us. It says, "Hey, we're doing it right this way. We're doing it wrong that way." But in the end, everybody's got their own unique plan because everybody has
Sure.
their own unique goals.
Yep.
And so that software only gives us some guidance. Really, it is about sitting down and talking with somebody that has the experience and working with people that are in retirement. And so they have seen those pitfalls and can help people navigate those pitfalls and have the
Sure.
money that they need to do that. And then also not take on that stress of not knowing, right?
Yeah.
So knowing is a big part of, oh, okay, this might happen. Okay, hey, it happened. No big deal. We've got a plan. Can you imagine how much stress that just takes off somebody when they know how they're going to take care of a financial problem or a health problem or
Yeah.
whatever kind of
It's the
thing pops
sleep
up?
well at night plan, right? Sleep
That's
well at
right.
night, the SWAN plan, SWAN, sleep well at night. I like that because knowing where my money's going to come from to pay the
Yes.
bills every month in retirement, and knowing I'm not going to outlive it, knowing that you and Tara have created a plan that takes us to 95 or 100, it's knowing I won't outlive my money. Your
Right.
plan plans for that long, and like you said
Yes.
earlier, takes into account things like inflation. So you're covered, and that's just you breathe easy. The stress relief, you don't have to sit there and worry about your money
No.
throughout retirement. And that's a big problem for a lot of people, and it causes more health problems for people because they're stressed about money and
They are.
retirement, right?
That's right. That's right. And it's just not about savings, right? So it's not just about saving.
No.
Now that plan utilizes Roth IRAs, health savings accounts, 401ks, um, to save retirement, and you want to reduce that tax liability. You want to manage that tax liability
Right.
because we don't know what taxes are going to be in 15 years, in 10 years. We don't know what taxes are going to be in 3 years because taxes are going to about to change as the 2017 Tax Act runs out. So, how is that really going to affect your income when the taxes revert back to the pre 2017? So, there's a lot of things that we've got to look at. And so, if sitting down with a financial services professional like myself is really going to help you create that plan and have that sense of well being, be able to sleep at night, be able to take care of your spouse if you're not around. I know Tara wants to take care of me when she's not around anymore,
Sure.
but and I want to take care of her. So
Yeah.
um, those are the kind of clients that we're looking for is people that care for people, and that's kind of how we've approached our business. Um,
Yeah.
so
I
helping
think that's
people
great.
with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. And I like the idea of working with a financial professional to dig into these details you're talking about so
Right.
you can build a strategy that's going to work for that individual and their own personal goals and make sure that, like you do spousal planning. If there's a couple, chances
That's
are
right.
one may outlive the other. So you plan for this. I think that's huge.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really a big thing because what's going to happen when half the Social Security goes away? Maybe the person that passes first had a pension, so now that income is gone, or maybe there's part of the pension that stays. Do you know what that is? Right? Both everybody should know what's happening.
Right.
So sitting down with that uh, other person will help bring things out. There's been lots of fights and crying in my office, um, but no blood was spilled.
That's good. That's good. Yeah.
What?
Well, getting it out there and communicating about it and getting that plan and figuring it out is all important. But you're exactly right. How can our listeners get a hold of you? We're out of time, but let
Oh,
them know how they can set up that complimentary, no cost, no obligation consultation.
yeah, you can reach us at 719-210-4242. Check out our website, nolanfinancialpartners.com. But give us a call right now, 719-210-4242. We'll set up that complimentary meeting so that we can help you with your finances and your wealth plan.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Chris. Listeners, that does it for today's episode of Nolan Financial Radio.
Join us again next time for another episode of Nolan Financial Radio.